Welcome to this session on Trainingportal's Marketplace feature. The Marketplace is an exclusive area within Trainingportal where users can gain access to additional training providers. It's one of the largest e-learning libraries on the market, with over 80 training providers and 2,000 courses, including practical, classroom and blended learning options. Essentially, it's a one-stop shop for training, enabling you to have all the providers on one invoice and with one central support service. Today, we're going to hear from the Mintra team to learn more about the various features of Marketplace on Trainingportal. We'll first hear from Mintra Chief Commercial Officer Kevin Short, who will kick off by giving an overview of Marketplace and how you can maximize its capabilities. We'll then learn how Marketplace works in more detail with a system demo from Mintra's Group Innovation Director, Paul Monroe. And next comes a case study section where we'll hear about Marketplace's development in Norway, where it was originally launched in 2010. And that session will be led by Mintra's Marketplace Manager, Torbjörg Undum. And finally, we have Laura Moyer, who is Mintra's Strategic Partnership Manager, and she'll share some insight into the development of the UK marketplace. And there'll be a chance to have your questions answered at the end. And we have set up a special Slido website option where you can vote on questions already submitted, and you could submit your questions as well. So I believe that one of my colleagues from Mintra will be putting a link to that Slido page in the Zoom chat right now. And you can click on that and have a look at some of the questions already submitted and upvote or downvote them, depending on whether you're interested in having them answered. And you can also submit your own questions there as well. And if you like, you can also submit your questions on the Zoom chat and we'll do our best to pick them up. The advantage of the Slido is that if people really want a certain question answered, then they can vote for that, and we'll make sure we spend more time on that at the end of the session. We hope you'll stay for the whole session and listen to all the presentations. If you can't make the whole thing, don't worry, everything's being recorded and you'll be sent a copy after the session today. So I believe we're ready to start. So I'll hand over to Kevin Short to get us underway. Kevin, over to you. Where's Kevin? Is Kevin on mute? Is Kevin in the room? Kevin was having a little bit of internet trouble earlier on. I can see his face, but we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
there we go. There we go.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
We can. Yes, we can hear you and see you. So over to you.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you again. You keep going on and off mute, Kevin. I'm not sure what's happening there. There we go. You're off mute again.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, apologies for that. As you were just sort of like getting the drum roll for me to step in there, my internet went down, which wasn't good. So anyway, thank you, James. Good morning and welcome to you all to our session on the open marketplace. I'd like to start, if I may, by thanking you for sharing your time with us this morning. As James said, we've got a couple of hours. Hopefully it's an interactive and rewarding session for you. We want it to be informative and engaging. My job, as I said, is to whet the appetite, is to begin to describe the function, the history, the relevance and the partnership as we see in our open marketplace. And then let the guys come in behind me and give you greater detail and information on each of these areas. As James mentioned, when we talk about the history of the marketplace isn't new to Mintra. We've had it for probably 11 years. Started in Norway at the request of our customers, to be fair. Our customers that were using Trainingportal to access the e-learning that we provided. But came to us and said, look, can your technology, can it be used to bring in other suppliers, other vendors, other creators of training, both e-learning and face-to-face training, to which clearly we agreed. And what we've seen over the 11 years is that massing of providers and really good content, both e-learning that you're in, but also in other geographies throughout the Mintra footprint across the globe. When we think about the functionality, it really is, it's a TMS, it's a training management system for anything else. It's a one-stop shop. You can access all of the training that you would require through our technology, through Trainingportal, and it's a free service. There aren't any charges for that access. You get in there and you can book your e-learning, you can book your face-to-face training, as I said, as you wish. And I guess when it comes to the relevance for you, the importance of having that one-stop shop is that the invoicing is interesting too, because we would raise one invoice on yourselves for all of your training that you'd consumed over the period. And on payment of that invoice, we would split those funds up and divide them to all the providers that you accessed during that period. It's not a comparison site, but what it does allow you to do is if you do have special that pricing from within the Trainingportal, so there's no problems with anything that you've set up in the past. And I guess for me, the last point to me is on partnership. Our job is to provide rich content. Our job is to go and get as many suppliers as we can to give you that training requirement that you have. But the partnership bit for us is if you see gaps in our repertoire, if you see gaps in the providers, be it our competitors, the Mintra competitors in our area, it doesn't matter to us. Any people that you see or any providers that you feel that you wish to access within the training provider, you either tell your key account manager, Torbjörg, or any of the team at Mintra, and we'll get those as best we can. We'll get them into our training portal and into our marketplace for you to access going forward. So as you can see, it is an open marketplace. It is wide in terms of geography. It is wide in terms of the richness of content. But we want to work with you to make sure that it really does fulfill all of your needs to give you that one-stop shop for a training management system. So hopefully that's whet your appetite. Hopefully that you're keen to hear more and stay with us. And I'll hand back to James now, and he'll hand out via the rest of the team. So again, thank you for joining us this morning, and I hope you enjoy the next hour or so.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, so I'll start up the next session, and the next section is a presentation by Paul Monroe. And this includes a system demo of Marketplace, so you can see exactly how it works and see all the features going. So I'll start Paul's presentation off now, and you'll be able to see all the details of that.
Hi, I'm Paul Monroe, Group Innovation Director, and I've been at Mintra for the last 9 years. In this demo, I'll take you through the process of finding and activating courses in our marketplace, then explain the options for setting up the enrollment rules and notifications, before we finally look into how we enroll users onto the courses. When you log into Trainingportal with your admin account, you'll be able to find a marketplace using the shortcut Course Catalog, or navigate into the Courses section and opening the Course Catalog tab. Within the Course Catalog, you will find all the courses available in our marketplace. It's e-learning, classroom and blended, both from Mintra and many other training providers. The search and filters will help you to find the exact courses you're looking to fulfill your training requirements. Selecting the course title will give you more information on each course. Here you'll find information such as the course description, duration, learning objectives, and any accreditations. For classroom courses, you'll also be able to see the upcoming course dates from the various providers alongside the class location and the price. To start using one of the available courses, all you need to do is select Activate. Carefully read through the terms and conditions before accepting. Once you've successfully activated the course, all administrators within your portal will have access to enroll the students in the course. You can easily find all activated courses in the Active Courses tab later. Some of the courses will be set up with a refresher interval. However, this can often be unspecified, allowing you to set the interval. You can set that up within the course details section. All courses will be issued with a default certificate from the training provider, but you can also add your own branded certificate from the library here as well. As with all other courses you have set up, you will be able to set up both enrolment rules and notifications on the newly activated course. The enrolment rules will allow you to control who has access to enrol the course, and you can add an approval step if required. The rules that you set up can also vary based on the organisational unit, giving you more flexibility. By default, all courses will send join instructions directly to the student, but if you would like to add further notifications to the student, yourself, or anyone else, you can do so here. Notifications can be set up to remind the student to start and complete the course, remind the student when the course is needing refreshed, or to notify you when the course has been complete. There are many more options as well. Now that we have an active course and have completed the setup, we can start to add the course into the job role requirements. Adding the course to the role requirements will then filter down and add this to the list of courses required by any of the students who have this job role. We can see here that James has not fully met his training requirements set for his job role. If we break this down, we can see the newly added basic safety course is red. We can simply book James onto the course using the Enroll Now icon. This will bring up a list of available classes that James can attend, detailing the date, provider, and cost. We can select a class and then move on to the confirmation page, allowing us to enter a PO number or comment if applicable. Once confirmed, the joining instructions will be sent directly to James. As we have set up the course and our training requirements, we can use the look ahead reporting to see where we have any upcoming gaps in the training requirements. This allows us to make sure that we have booked the courses in plenty time to keep our training matrix fully compliant. I've covered some of this functionality rather quickly. If you would like to see Trainingportal in more detail, then please contact your designated account manager and they will arrange for a more in-depth demo at your convenience.
Okay, that was a whistle-stop tour of the marketplace. We now hand over to Torbjørg Undum, who will tell us about Marketplace's development in Norway, where I believe it was originally launched in 2010. So they have lots of development in hand and lots of sort of innovation experience to share with you. So Torbjørg, over to you.
Thank you, James. Yes, I'm going to take you through the marketplace, both in Norway and also a bit look into the marketplace in UK. Anyway, first of all, my name is Torbjørg Undum. I've been with Mintra for the past 2.5 years and took on the role as marketplace manager back in October last year, so I'm fairly new to this role. I have background from the maritime industry. So before I joined Mintra, I was heading up the marine HR department at TK. And amongst a range of tasks in that role, I was responsible for the competency and training of the seafarers on an average between 1,000 and 1,200 seafarers at sea at any time. Of course, I was not doing this alone. It was together with my team. I was with TK for 10 years, and before I joined TK, I was a crewing manager for a company called Gulf Offshore, where I also were responsible for the competence and training of the crew. And we had about 250 seafarers operating the company's platform supply vessels within the North Sea. So I've been in the industry and, so to speak, on the other side of the table from what I'm doing now. And I must say, I really do enjoy working for Mintra. It's exciting, and developing the marketplace even further, it's really, really exciting. If we look at what the marketplace is, it is an exclusive area within Trainingportal, which is our LMS system, where users can gain access to a large amount of training providers and a range of different courses, both e-learning or digital training, classroom, and blended learning. And the marketplace has been operating in Norway for more than a decade. So we'll get back to the marketplace during the presentation and look more in depth into what it can do for all of you. Next slide, please. I don't know if all of you know our company and the background of our company, so I thought it might be good to just have a quick look through what Mintra is and how it became the company it is today, because it consists of 3 companies, actually, all the companies with a long history. So it's not a new company, it's companies with a long history in the industry. So we have OCS, which was founded back in the 80s, delivering and developing our HR solution system. We have Atlas, which was acquired by Mintra back in 2018, and joined the company with a large amount of generic e-learning content. And last but not least, we have the Mintra company, which was established in Norway back in the late 90s, where our LMS, the Trainingportal, was developed back in the days, and they started off with offering bespoke and generic training to the Norwegian oil and gas sector. And this has sort of, it was a success, and it has continued to grow and develop. So we see today that most of our customers are using our LMS as their training management system. These 3 companies, each with a long history, are Mintra as we are known today. And Mintra, we are a leading provider of human capital management systems and digital learning for the safety critical industry globally. And we have offered the marketplace concept for our Norwegian customers for more than 10 years, and it is still growing, which is really good. Next slide, please. So looking into the marketplace, and the marketplace is, as said, an exclusive area within the Trainingportal. We have currently more than 1.7 million active users. We have more than 500 portals being used on a daily basis. We have more than 3,500 corporate customers. So the customer base is large. It's really huge. And together with our partners, we are offering more than 2,000 e-learning or digital training courses, and we're offering classroom courses and blended training. And we have more than 80 partners offering their content within our marketplace. We as Mintra have just a smaller part of the e-learning courses within the marketplace, so the rest are from our third-party suppliers. I think it's important to highlight that all the courses can be purchased by individuals directly through the marketplace, or you as a customer can activate the applicable courses for your area of operation and enroll according to your own competence matrix, like Paul just shown in his presentation. It gives you a really good overview of the competence to both your staff and even to your contractors, if you have any. So it gives a great overview, is what we are told and what we think ourselves as well, and it's easy to manage. Next slide, please. We are aware of the many challenges within the industry and the increasingly demand of training and competence to be in compliance with regulations and requirements from the industry, and also to document exactly the same. It sort of gives you a certificate to operate on the various sectors or installations, vessels, whatever you like. And we think that our solutions can help you with meeting these demands. And yeah, we have a worldwide access to our system. There is a rotation and a planning tool, which might be good when people are on board or on leave, on duty, whatever. We have a single source of all training and competence records, and that is accessible from any device. And I suppose that that is a good feature to have in hand to be able to document the competence of your employees. And last but not least, there is an open marketplace with a range of courses where you can choose the courses you need. E-learning can of course be done anywhere at any time. If it's classroom training, you can select the location nearest or the location which suits you the best and book your training. Next slide, please. I think this is maybe the most important slide I have, or information I have in this presentation, because the big question is, what would you like to have available within the marketplace? Because we can develop our own content. We can go out and we can identify new suppliers, and hopefully they will join us as our partners with their content. But it's all based on your input, because the input that you are giving is what is needed by you as a customer. And that can never ever be underestimated, and it's so important, and it's so important also to our success. So your input is highly important. Give us the information of which courses or suppliers you would like to see on the marketplace, and we will do our very best to get that content on the marketplace. Next slide, please. Here is an overview of the newest providers which have joined the marketplace lately. And I'd like to highlight some of them. We have Astutis, which is a UK-based company. That company came onto the marketplace upon request from one of our larger customers. The customer gave us name of 2 providers, and we partnered up with Astutis and are now offering these courses in the marketplace. And they are having courses certified by IOSH, NIBOSH, and IEMA. So that was really a good supplier to be able to have on the marketplace. And it's all e-learning or digital content. We also have Kongsberg Maritime, who are providing their classroom trainings. And these courses are available to book through Marketplace on all Kongsberg's training centers globally. So if you have an employee who needs to do any Kongsberg training in any part of the world, you can book the training through Marketplace. That is the only provider we have that option with at the moment, and we are hoping to get that availability for other partners as well. And I'm really happy to introduce the Maersk Training UK and NMEC to the marketplace in the UK. They are both offering classroom courses and are ready to book within the marketplace. Maersk have 14 of their classroom courses available, and NMEC have about 40, just under 40 courses available on the marketplace. We also have partnered up with Viking Safety Life, who is providing e-learning courses. We have a company called Talent Quest, which is delivering a large range of leadership and management digital training. And the last company we have gone into a partnership with and are delivering courses onto the marketplace is a company in UK called Viasec, and they are mostly delivering maritime training. We also have entered into a partnership with a company called STQ, delivering classroom training in Norway, both for the oil and gas and the maritime sector. So there are things happening in the marketplace, and it's a living area, and we are really happy to introduce these companies as being a part of the marketplace. And we do have also quite a few great suppliers with high quality content in the loop, but it's not finalized as of yet. So, but these are our newest providers. Okay, the next slide, please. Since we have been operating the marketplace in Norway for more than 10 years, we've been able to get feedback from our customers. And of course, the feedback is both important and valuable to us to fully understand the complexity and functionality of using our system, and also to learn what needs to be developed to make it even better and with better functionalities. The feedback that came back from our customers in Norway, and this is customers who have been using the system for quite a while, and what they say is it is a greater selection and choice when they are joining the marketplace, because they can choose within all the courses. And as mentioned earlier, we have more than 2,000 courses available, and they can activate the courses applicable to their own organization. So they don't have to look through all the 2,000 courses, but they can have their courses which is applicable to them listed. it's a central overview. It's also something which is coming back to us, and that is all data is kept in one system, and it can be accessed anywhere at any time. And the last sort of feedback is that it's easy to access and it's easy to book, and I suppose that goes without explaining. And but it is important feedback to us because we want as less administration as possible for our customers. So the system is used by our customers as their own training management system, and they keep track of the training in-house, and they do save time and money on the training. So that's good feedback to sort of move along with, and we are looking forward to hear back also from newer customers with their feedback. And it's always good with good feedback, but constructive feedback is what is helping us building our way forward and develop the system. Next slide, please. I said previously that your input was maybe the most important message during this presentation, and I think that it is. But this is maybe as important because the marketplace is a one-stop shop. It's like you go into the marketplace, you you find the courses that you need, and you activate and you book. You can make a PO for one PO for all your training needs, and you will receive one invoice from us taking care of all the training from the different suppliers. And we will take care of the invoicing and payments to the suppliers. That has been working in Norway for several years, and it's one of the things that I know our customers really appreciate. And I also want to highlight that if you as a company have agreed a discounted price from one supplier or several of the suppliers, you will be charged with the discounted price that you already have agreed with the supplier or suppliers when you are receiving the invoice from us. So our system will take care of the discounted rate that you have agreed with the suppliers. I hope that was clear, because I think it's important. You go in and you book your training, you have one invoice, and if you have a discounted price, you will have the discount also on the invoice, which you are getting from us on a monthly basis. Next slide, please. It's also interesting for us, and I suppose also for you, to see the benefits for the training providers. And funny enough, it's more or less exactly the same things they're highlighting as benefits as our customers, which is good, because it should go both ways. And what they say here in Norway is they reach out to a large customer base just by being a part of the marketplace. And that is, of course, because they're getting access to all of our customers. And we have a large customer base. It's easier access. There is a full integration between the suppliers' booking systems and Trainingportal. And it's easy for the suppliers to get an overview of who is booking their courses, and the usage through the marketplace. I must say that the suppliers do, of course, only have access of information regarding their own courses. So it's not open for them to see everyone's courses. They do just have access to their own courses. And again comes less administration, goes for itself, I think, and it is what we all are looking for. Get the work done with as little effort as possible. Next slide, please. Here is an overview of our standards and approvals, and I must say I'm quite proud to announce that we, back in December, were approved as a STCW provider by the Norwegian Maritime Authority, and the Norwegian Maritime Authority is on the IMO's whitelist, meaning that the certificates that we issue on behalf of NMA is valid to every company or everyone on the whitelist, all the flags on the whitelist. We are also an approved provider training provider from OPITO, which obviously is important for everyone working, especially in the North Sea, but also elsewhere in the world. We have the ISO 9001 certification. We are certified by DNV-GL as a maritime provider. And we have a range of other accreditations. And as I mentioned, by having the Astutis as a partner within the marketplace, we now also offer digital courses within, which is certified by IOSH, NIBOSH, or IEMA. Next slide, please. Just to show you an overview of some of our customers and the sectors where we are operating in. We started off in Norway, as I mentioned, in the oil and gas industry, which now is the energy industry. I suppose we are one of the largest, if not the largest provider of training within that industry worldwide. We are getting larger and larger within the maritime industry, and we are constantly growing in that market. So the energy and the maritime market is our core markets, but we do also offer training to other industries, like, for instance, construction, where we do have a rather large customer base. So if you want more information, this can be found on our webpage, mintra.com, and you will see both an overview of our customers and also of our providers and partners. Next slide, please. It's coming to an end now. And I've brought with me some testimonials from 3 of our clients using our systems, and I suppose that is maybe more valuable to you than just me talking about it, because we have information from Aker BP, where they also use our systems for on-the-job training, which I think is very good and a familiar phrase to most of you. And she's also highlighting the easy accessibility. So that is good, really good feedback from Aker BP. Next slide, please. We also have testimonials from both TK Offshore Production and from ProSafe. And I must say the last sentence from TK, where they are saying that they can automate several tasks without compromising on quality, is, to me, really important. It might be because of my background, but I think everyone here would like to see their employees coming safe back home. So we cannot compromise on the quality, even if we want to do it as automated or as quick as we can. The quality is key. And also, I think from ProSafe, where they say the flexibility and cost efficiency is really important to them. So appreciate the feedback from those 3 customers who has used our systems for a long time. That was it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Torbjörg. Very comprehensive presentation there, so thank you for that. We have a final talk now from Laura Moyer, who's the Strategic Partnership Manager. Laura is going to talk to us about specifically the development of the UK element of the marketplace. And then we'll have a bit of time for some questions and answers. If you haven't yet visited the Slido page, where you can look at some of the questions that have already been submitted, please do, and think about any questions that you had as well. We've got quite a few questions coming up. I think plenty to sort of cover us, but I think in order to prioritize some of those questions, it would be great if you could go onto that Slido website. Hopefully, maybe Paul Munro from Mintra will post that link again in the chat. And you'll be able to vote on which questions you would like to see answered, which ones are most interesting to you. Anyway, I'll hand over to Laura, and she can give you her talk, and then after that we'll get everybody back up on stage, as it were, for a Q&A session. Laura, over to you.
Thanks, James. My name is Laura Moyer. I'm the Strategic Project Manager with Mintra. I've been with Atlas and Mintra for almost 3 years now, and I also handle a portfolio of accounts as well within the UK and the wider market. What I'm going to discuss today is why we're introducing this marketplace in the UK, what a UK marketplace means, and also how we're going to try and develop this over the next few years in partnerships with our customers and training providers. Next slide, please, James. So I guess that the first point I really want to sort of hit home is we've discussed a lot in this presentation about UK marketplace and Norway marketplace. I want to make it absolutely clear that these are not individual products. These are not separate regional tools. Marketplace from Mintra is one tool. With regard to Norway marketplace, all this means is, it's been a huge success over the last 10, 11 years in Norway, but the main focus has been working with our Norway-based clients in onboarding the training providers that they really want to see within the system. All we're looking to do with the UK marketplace is replicate that over here. So it's not going to be a completely separate system. It will all be one marketplace. But along with your account managers, what we're going to do is work very closely with our UK clients to figure out which training providers they want to see on there, which courses they want to see on there, and then we'll work hard to add them into the marketplace tool. So that's really all a UK marketplace means. It doesn't mean it's for only UK training providers. We have onboarded, as Torbjörg said, Maersk and Enermet Training, who have obviously training centres within the UK for practical courses, but they also have training centres on a global scale. So their UK courses are showing in the system at the moment, but as we go on, we hope to add in their global product as well. So the system is absolutely not restricted to just training within the UK. If you have training providers basically anywhere in the world that you use, we can look to onboard them into the system. So we'll be working very closely with you. Your key account managers will be in touch, obviously, after this and ongoing to onboard whoever you want to see within there. Our main aim is to sort of make sure that Marketplace is the one place you can go to see all the training you need. So anything that's sitting within your competence matrix, any courses you've got in there, we can look to add that into the portfolio. Have the next slide, James, please. I've worked in the training industry for around 12 years now in various different roles. So I've been a training administrator as well as working for practical training providers as a development manager. So I've kind of seen it from all sides. I know working as a training administrator that it's a challenging role. Especially now we're kind of going to slimmer organizations, less people in charge of booking training for larger amounts of people. So being effective with your time is hugely important. I remember having to phone and email around a number of different training providers, trying to find a date, a location that suits the excuse me, suits the dates that the trainees are available. It didn't always work out that way. They have to obviously look at when the guys are on holiday and they're home from offshore. It can be a complicated process and very time consuming trying to get a training course that fits in with that schedule. You also are constrained by budgets, so you need to find the best price available, which is not always the price is not always the best price for the course you need on a particular date. So that's a constraint for you as well. A lot of the costs associated with practical training are the travel and accommodation that sometimes goes along with that. So being able to see a range of different courses right in front of you with one click is extremely beneficial. It also helps with, there's always last minute cancellations, illness, needing to be sent offshore sooner than anticipated. So it's very handy to be able to see last minute availability to get an instant view of what's available and where you can send your guys for training. Next slide, please, James. The main benefit to having Marketplace is it makes it easier. That's all we really want to do, is make your job easier when you're booking training. And that's the whole premise behind the Marketplace tool. So it allows you to work more efficiently, but it also allows you to keep control of your training. With some TMS systems, you're basically handing a lot of the control over to someone else. A system like Marketplace allows you to keep control of that, and it's also less restrictive. So you're not going to be, well, if you're using a traditional TMS system, you're basically using that company's products, and then they go out to source whatever else you need that they can't provide. With a tool like Marketplace, the market is completely open to you. So you can use any training provider you like. You're not tied to one provider, and you can chop and change. You don't have to go back to the same provider each time. You pick whichever one is most suitable for you at that time. You get a much wider choice. You have a choice of global training providers, dates, locations. So it really is a hugely flexible system that you are maintaining control of. You also have, as Torbjörg mentioned, the visibility of pricing. It's not a comparison tool, but that is available for you to view. So if location is not particularly the top of your list, it's more pricing, then you can look at the most cost-effective option for you. It also allows some extensive reporting functions. If you've used Trainingportal before, you would use the reporting functions with regard to your training. But what the budgeting tool could help you do, the reporting tool, sorry, is to do future budget planning. Because the pricing is available within Trainingportal, you will know roughly which courses will need to be refreshed that year for whatever number of people you have. You can then effectively gauge roughly how much your budget will need to be for that following year. It's very good for future predictions and sort of sticking to a cost plan. As we mentioned, MintChat are not a practical training provider. We ourselves provide e-learning, and we work with partners to provide the practical side of it. So, for that reason, we're completely agnostic. You have the absolute freedom to use any provider you like. So whoever your regular training providers are, you let us know who they are. We will approach them and ask them to come on board Marketplace. It shouldn't cost you any more. There's no additional charges for them coming into Marketplace and offering the courses to you. Our training providers set the prices themselves. We don't dictate that to them. So it really is simply a tool to make it easier for you and for you to book it all in one place. Next slide, please, James. The great thing about Marketplace as well for training administrators is that it's a fully automated system. So you're keeping control of it. You can see what's happening budget-wise, but there are also the opportunities to put booking preferences in there. So it's very flexible and can be manipulated to suit your business model. So there are different options on who can make and authorize the bookings within Trainingportal for the practical courses. There's the option to have self-enrollment, where your employees and contractors can go in and book the courses themselves. They can search date, location, pick out what suits their schedule and book that course immediately. Or you can obviously set restrictions in there. You perhaps don't want people just going and booking whatever they like, because you want to keep control of a budget. But you can set different levels. So the individual could go in and select which course suits them best, select that course, and it would then ping a notification to the training administrator saying, so-and-so would like to book this course on this date. Is that okay? You then authorize it and the booking goes through. Or you can have it completely restricted so that only your training administrators can make the booking. That's probably preferable in most cases because you want to sort of keep control of that side of things. But it is very flexible, and there's all those different options available just to make the process easier. Next slide, please, James. So the automated booking process obviously involves basically everything from start to finish. So you go in there, you see all the courses, you see all the prices, you select the course you want, then everything is automated from that point forward. So all the joining instructions from the training providers are stored within the system so that they can be automatically sent to the trainee on booking. That obviously includes any prerequisites that need to be forwarded, any information they need before attending the course, as well as the usual information on where they need to be and when and what to bring with them. Once the course is completed, the certificate is also stored within the system. So as with any of our e-learning, a PDF certificate is stored in that person's record, which can be accessed at any time by the individual or the client company. The notifications, which Torbjörg mentioned earlier, is an amazing tool, especially for training administrators. It saves you having to run Excel reports on who's running out ticket-wise in the next 2, 3, 4 months, you can set up automated reminders, which will ping the individual and the training booker to say that James Scott's crane certificate is running out in 3 months' time. It needs to be rebooked. So both yourself and the trainee will get that reminder and make sure that everything is booked and there's never any issues with expired tickets or last-minute panics. Someone's going offshore and their ticket's expiring while they're away. So that's a really, really useful tool. A lot of our clients use that already for e-learning courses, but it can be applied to the practical side as well. And as I mentioned before, the reporting functions within the system are great. You can basically run reports on whatever you like. You know, how many practical courses have been attended within a month, how many are booked within the next 3 months. It's an excellent tool to give you a visual aid, you know, instantly. Next slide, James, please. So we've sort of covered this already, but really the future of Marketplace depends on us and yourselves working together to make sure that we have the right mix of providers and courses in there. The whole success of the system really is that we have what you need when you go in there to book your courses. There's no point in you going in there and us having just some things and then you have to use other systems or phoning or emailing to get the rest of your courses. Our aim is to have everything you need in one place, and we can work with you to do that. So it will be an ongoing process. We have obviously started recruiting in a number of providers already with Maersk and Enemec and the rest of the providers which Torbjörg mentioned, but it will be an ongoing process. As it was in Norway. It takes, you know, it will take a while to get everyone you want in there, but that will be the aim going forward to add in as many of your providers as we can. And as we said, there's no restriction. We don't discriminate. If you want a particular provider in there, we will work to get them in there for you. So what will happen after this is obviously you have the information from us now on what Marketplace is and what we plan to do with it. Your account managers will be in touch with you after this session at some point to discuss, you know, who you would like to see in there, the courses that you use most frequently, and perhaps the locations of, you know, where a lot of your staff would like to be doing training. So we will very much work with you to get that list of providers for us to target. What we're going to do is provide you with a feedback form initially, which you can give us sort of your maybe top 10, top 15 training providers that you use most commonly. What we'll then do is collate this information and we'll use that as our, you know, initial target list. What might help as well is going forward, if you have a relationship already with a training provider, which perhaps we're not in contact with at the moment, we can work together and speak to the training provider to explain what Marketplace is to them, for example, and how it could work for both parties to be involved with it. So very much an ongoing process. It's something which we'll keep building over the next few years. We'll keep adding training providers as and when required, but it's very much going to be based on your input. So it would be hugely appreciated, you know, if you work with your key account managers to get the people on board that we need to see there. Next slide, James. Thank you.
Okay, that means you're finished, Laura. Thank you very much. We now have some time for some questions and answers. If I stop sharing my screen and I can bring all the presenters back up for you together. Let's do that here. We have the Slido link that hopefully you've been able to see. I'll bring Paul up as well. Paul, if you're still here, you can put your video back on. And we can ask some of the questions that have been submitted to the Slido, but if anybody else has any additional questions, then please feel free to add them to the Zoom chat or add them to the Slido as well. I'll start off with one of the questions that has been added to Slido this morning, and I'll let the relevant person from Mintra take it. So if a company has existing agreements in place with a training provider and that provider chooses not to join Marketplace, how do they access that preferred supplier? Is there any way of doing that within, obviously, you know, if they're choosing not to access, not to join Marketplace, are there any options there? Is that something you come across?
Should I?
Yeah.
If a supplier chooses not to join Marketplace, they are obviously not one of our partners and suppliers, and the courses they have will not be available from their company in the Marketplace. There might be exactly the same content, but provided by other suppliers.
Yeah, I guess there's not much you guys can do in that situation.
No, if they chooses not to join, then that's of course something they have to decide by themselves.
And can you?
Can I just jump in a little bit with that one?
Sure.
With regard to training providers, as I mentioned, the training providers can set their own prices. You know, they put their own details in there. They pick everything that they put in the system, and this system's actually built for not only our clients but also our training providers. So there shouldn't really be a downside to a training provider joining Marketplace, because they can set all that information themselves. And if they have existing preferential rates with that particular customer, we can program that into the system so that only that particular customer will get their discounted rates, and you know, there's no penalty for booking it through Trainingportal. So we have found that most of the training providers we've approached have been keen to join, because there isn't really a downside for them either. Plus, it gives training providers access to a huge amount of customers which are on our Trainingportal system that perhaps they wouldn't get visibility with, you know, not being on Marketplace.
Thank you.
Okay, great. I'm sure this has been something that you've mentioned today, but just to clarify for anybody that is in any doubt, is there any additional cost required to access Marketplace?
Kevin?
Yeah, no, additional price, no. It comes inside your training portal. You'll see there's a Marketplace piece as Paul demonstrated, so there's no additional fee for it at all.
Okay. What happens if somebody has a previously agreed discounted rate from a course provider that is also on Marketplace?
Yeah, that is continued to be honoured within there. So you know, that we accommodate all of those specials. It's not a comparison site, so the suppliers don't think, well, I've got, you know, one customer that I give this price and another customer something else. We don't sort of like change that, but the system is powerful enough to allow each individual customer to gain access to their previously agreed preferred rate with that supplier.
Great, thank you, Kevin. And again, you know, just to make sure that these these issues were covered, can clients request other e-learning providers to be added to Marketplace? I'm guessing that the answer to that is yes.
Yes,
So
yes.
Provider that you've worked with, you know, and you would like them to be added to the Marketplace if they're not already, you can request that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's totally agnostic, the Marketplace. You know, for us, even if they would be seen as a competitor in, you know, then what we do, we would always bring them in for you.
Okay, so people can lobby you to, you know, reach out to those providers and see if they can be added to Marketplace as well. Okay.
It truly, I mean, the power is it's an open system. That's what it is. It's not closed just to our training. It's open to any training that we can get to bring in. You know, our job, you know, Torbjörn, we will do everything we can to to identify, and it won't just be the obvious courses. We won't stock the whole catalogue with stuff which people don't access, but we'll try and get relevant courses. But we do need people's help our customers' help to say, look, this would be good, and it's from one of your competitors, then we'll go and get it if we can and bring it in.
Okay. And there was a question here. How do you verify, maybe you could speak to some of the process that you go through to verify the quality and standard of the providers and their courses that are available on the marketplace? How can customers be sure that they're getting something that is of top quality?
Sure, Bill, do you want to take that one?
I can do. We are, of course, looking out for approved suppliers, and we are looking for certifications. We're looking for accreditations, and that sort of gives us an overview of the content which is provided by that particular supplier. And we do also have a process in-house, so we go through especially then the e-learning or digital training. So we go through and have a look at the content and have sort of a quality assurance in-house that we approve the content.
It's a fairly robust system, because all areas we view the content, and then Paul and his team make sure that it can be accessed and it doesn't actually, it still stays within Trainingportal, and so the UI, the user experience is as good as the rest. So but I think Torbjørn's point is to look for accreditations and certifications. For us is the key piece to get like a really relevant, that whole point of relevance in that rich content.
Great. A question that's just come in. I wonder if you could clarify, is there a cost to training providers to have their services and courses listed on Marketplace?
There is, a cost not to join, but clearly it's a service that we actually provide. So therefore we have an arrangement with the providers, yes. But none of that is borne back into our customers.
Okay.
It's based on course registrations, so it's not sort of when they are joining. So if there are no registrations, there are no fee, but hopefully that is not the case. Hopefully there will be lots and lots of bookings.
Okay, so it's more of a kind of a commission model rather than a registration fee model. Okay. Let's see if there are any other questions that we haven't had answered yet. Let's see. And is there any sort of ranking of companies within Marketplace? How do you, is it up to the user to sort of filter according to what they want to see and what they're interested in, or do providers have any option to appear higher up the list than others, or or is it completely aimed to be an egalitarian provider solution? How does that? Are there any options like that?
Customers, well, the clients, when they're going in, they're generally going to be looking under different criteria. So they may be looking for courses within a certain date, rather than a location, for example, or a certain price, for example. So there's no chance for training providers to sit at the top of every list. Whatever appears on the search list from the clients will be determined by what they're looking for. If dates a preference, then it will just be the providers within those dates that will appear. There's no higher ranking for one provider over another. And as I said before, we don't have any specific ties to particular training providers, so everyone's equal within the system.
And maybe it's worth just there may be a question there, James, but Torbjørn, maybe it's worth talking about how we communicate new suppliers in terms of the way in which it will sit in Trainingportal, and how we'll search it out so that our customers become aware of new guys that are joining.
Yeah, definitely. If we are entering into an agreement with a new training provider, we get, of course, all the information of the courses that they would like to add on Trainingportal, and we're also getting a company bio from the provider. And then our marketing team is sort of taking over and advertise within Trainingportal and elsewhere on our webpage. It really depends, but at least it's been marketing within Trainingportal, so that whenever a current customer is opening their portal, they will see the newest information in Trainingportal.
And again, just for clarification, you've obviously got the UK version of this is what we're predominantly talking about. Are there courses available from countries and providers outside the UK?
Yes, definitely. I could say like Kongsberg Maritime is one of the providers. They have their head office in Norway, and it's with the people in Norway where we have entered into the agreement or contract together with. But they do have locations all over the world. I think they're not in every country, but they are at least in every sort of area of the world. And they offer their training through Marketplace to any of their locations. And if you as a UK customer do have a need of some of your employees maybe should join in Norway to go offshore, and there are special requirements to go offshore from the Norway side, you can go in and you can book training courses, classroom courses in Norway from your UK side. So there is no, as I think Laura mentioned it during her presentation, there is sort of no, the marketplace is a marketplace, but we do have UK providers, we have Norwegian providers, and we have providers from other parts of the world as well. So, but the marketplace is a system, and you can access whoever you would like to.
And I think it's worth adding on there that historically the marketplace was a little bit industry and geographically constrained. And Paul and the team recently has removed those barriers so that as a customer, without getting a deluge of stuff that you're not interested in, but you do have the opportunity to access all of our training providers, be it e-learning or face-to-face, anywhere that training, obviously if it's e-learning off the cloud, but everywhere else, if it's physical, anywhere. So no matter what your industry, you'll be able to find anything that's in there. So it's making it truly open.
Is there a roadmap for any future developments or adding other providers? I mean, do you have an ambition for expanding the range of providers or the number? What might be around the corner?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I mean, it is very much what we're trying to do all the time, is trying to add new providers and new courses. If we think about, I think in 2018 we had about 1,600 courses available. So 2019, I think 2020 we got up to 2,000. We start this year at about 2,352. I think is the exact number that was published this morning. So for us, we have a real appetite to gain as much. But again, it's relevance. I think that whole point of we don't want to just give you loads of stuff which you won't use. It's trying to make sure that we get rich content, be it e-learning or face-to-face training, that you will access going forward. And maybe, Paul, to bring you in a little bit in terms of I know that we've got technical developments that we've got on our roadmap, in terms of maybe if you could tell the guys a little bit about some of the things that we've got planned to come up through this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in terms of the marketplace, or the course catalogue as it's referenced in the Trainingportal at the moment. We've got plans on improving the searching and the filtering that you're able to do within there to make sure that it's very easy for you to find the courses and the relevant courses that you need to fill up your training matrix. So being able to filter on the location, the duration, the price, and everything within the course is something that we're adding, and that should be coming relatively soon to Trainingportal.
Okay, and again, just for the avoidance of any doubt, is this something that is live now that people can access now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's alive, and you can use it in anger.
I think that you know, for me, maybe in sort of closing this is, you know, Torbjörg, you mentioned that really the most important thing that you had to say, and the most important slide that you had, was all about how it can be very much up to the customer to decide what this becomes, and decide what they want to see on the marketplace, and help you, you know, give you feedback so that you can develop it according to what they're looking for, including the providers that are most useful to them, and developing things that are most useful to them. I mean, could you just speak to that to maybe sort of finish us off?
Yes, I can do, because there are no point in us having 5,000 courses which no one is using. So it's much better for us to have even though we have a large library, it's better to have a smaller library with actual courses which is useful for the industry than having a range of courses just sitting there. There is no point. And that information we need to get from those who is using the courses on a daily basis. So we need to get the information, please, from our clients and customers. What would they like to see in the marketplace? When we have that knowledge, we can either develop our own content, or we can go to a supplier and ask if they would like to join the marketplace.
And is there a specific way that people should let you know what they're looking for or what they want?
For the current customers, it would be through the CAMs, key account managers. I'm also always available if you want to contact me directly. But I suppose the most correct way and secure way is to go through the CAMs.
Okay, well, I think I'll wrap up there. We don't seem to be having any more questions coming in, so hopefully that's answered everybody's you know, nagging queries. If you do have any extra questions, of course, then do get back to Mintra. You'll be receiving an email with just a sort of, you know, confirmation of everything that's been sort of discussed today, including a copy of the recording of this session, if you want to watch any of it back. And also included will be contact details for the various people that presented today, so that you can get in touch with them with any feedback. So I'd like to thank Kevin, Paul, Torbjörg and Laura, and thank you from myself. Hope you enjoy using the marketplace and get lots of use out of it. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. So thank you very much for attending today, and thank you for joining us, and see you soon with other news, I'm sure. Bye-bye.